Have you ever wondered how some sales professionals hit those incredible 10x results?
Yeah, it's really something, isn't
Well,
it?
today we're going deep on those
Yeah,
strategies with
absolutely.
sales expert Win Nathan Davis.
I think we all could learn something here.
Definitely, Win's story is amazing.
Yeah.
They managed to achieve some really crazy sales growth.
Explosive growth, I think is how they put it.
Exactly. And it only took them 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
We'll be looking closely at Win's journey,
Okay.
as they describe it in their article.
Mm-hmm.
It's called How I 10x My Income in 2 Years. The Power of Focused Sales Strategies.
Catchy title.
For sure.
Yeah.
So we want to give you some really practical takeaways
Right.
that you can use to boost your sales team's performance and hopefully achieve some of that amazing growth Win had.
I think a lot of people would be happy with that kind of growth.
Absolutely. Win's story really challenges those old school sales ideas we all kind of just accept.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Those assumptions we've all kind of been taught.
Right? Like at the beginning, Win was doing what they call the spray and pray approach.
Oh, yeah, the classic, just throw it out there and see what sticks.
Exactly. They were dividing their time equally between all clients
Okay, so basically treating every account the same.
and relying a lot on cold calls.
I remember those days.
Yeah. But they figured out pretty quickly that it wasn't working.
Makes sense. You can't just treat every client the same, can you?
Right. Win realized that thinking more activity equals more success.
Yeah.
That's actually a big misconception.
It's easy to fall into that trap, though, right? You think you're working hard, so you must be getting somewhere.
Exactly. But Win had a real turning point.
What happened?
They shifted their focus
Okay.
to those key accounts.
The ones with the big potential.
Exactly. Win really dug deep with those accounts.
So they weren't just doing surface-level stuff.
No, they went all in, engaging with different departments
Wow.
within those accounts,
Oh, right.
understanding the challenges
Interesting.
and brainstorming solutions that were tailored for them.
That's a lot of work.
It is. Win even went the extra mile doing weekend demos,
Wow. Talk about dedication.
all to make sure they were prioritizing these important relationships.
Yeah. That's impressive. That shows a real commitment to those clients.
It really does.
Mm.
And that dedication and strategic focus,
Yeah.
those paid off.
I bet.
Win understood that to grow,
Yeah.
you have to really cultivate those high-value relationships.
It makes sense when you think about it.
It does. And to make enough time for those key accounts,
Okay.
Win completely changed their schedule.
How so?
They started spacing out visits to smaller accounts.
Interesting. So focusing the time where it mattered most.
Exactly. A perfect example of working smarter, not harder.
Something a lot of sales leaders talk about.
All the time.
But it's not always easy to put into practice.
It's not. There's one thing Win said that really stuck with me.
What was that?
They compared this whole strategy to trying to connect two dots on a piece of paper,
Okay.
but without drawing a straight line.
How do you do that?
You fold the paper.
Ah, I see. Bringing the dots together.
Exactly. Win used that analogy to show how important innovative thinking is in sales.
I love that analogy. It's so simple, but so powerful.
It really is. It's like, sometimes we've got to challenge those old ways of thinking if we want to achieve those breakthroughs in sales success.
It's about thinking outside the box, isn't it?
Exactly. And that innovative mindset was really at the heart of Win's whole approach.
Interesting. So how did that actually play out?
Well, they stress that it's all about dissecting your sales process constantly,
Okay.
seeking out inspiration from other industries.
So not just sticking to what everyone else in sales is doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And always testing and refining your strategies.
Sounds like a lot of work, but also really smart.
It is. It's about having that growth mindset and being adaptable in a market that's always changing.
That's so important these days. Things are moving so fast.
They really are. And I think that's a really crucial point for our listeners to remember.
Especially for those leading sales teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if you're trying to build a culture of innovation.
Yeah, how do you get everyone thinking outside the box?
Right.
It's a challenge.
It is.
But Win's story shows us it's possible.
It definitely does. And Win's approach went beyond just closing deals.
Oh, really? So it wasn't just about hitting those numbers?
No, they became a trusted advisor to their clients.
Okay, so more of a partner than just a salesperson.
Exactly. They really understood their clients' operations.
Wow, so not just the surface level.
No, they went deep, building trust.
It's all about relationships, right?
It is. And offering value that went way beyond a simple transaction.
So they weren't just trying to make a quick sale.
Not at all. They were invested in their clients' success.
That's a powerful approach.
It is. It's about being that invaluable partner, someone who's truly invested in their client's success.
Makes a big difference, I bet.
It does. Now, Win is very upfront about this,
Okay.
embracing this approach.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight.
It's a journey.
Exactly. It takes dedication buy-in from management.
Management that's open to new ideas.
Exactly. And a willingness to challenge the status quo.
Which can be tough in some companies.
It can be. Wynn even suggested that sometimes it might mean leaving a company that's holding you back.
That's a big decision.
It is. But it underscores how important it is to be in an environment that helps you grow and reach your full potential as a sales professional.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
What are some of the key takeaways so far?
Yeah, let's pause here and distill those key points before we dive even deeper into Wynn's tactics.
All right, what jumped out at you? I think focusing on those high potential clients is key.
Yeah.
It's all about quality over quantity.
Right.
Finding those accounts that have a ton of untapped potential and then really dedicating your time and energy to building those relationships.
Absolutely. And Wynn's approach to building those relationships.
Yeah.
That was really interesting. They talked about immersive selling.
Immersive selling.
Yeah. Becoming a trusted advisor.
Okay.
Not just a salesperson.
That sounds great in theory.
Right.
But how did they actually pull that off?
Well, Wynn really emphasized understanding everything about their clients' operations.
Really?
Everything.
Not just the surface stuff.
So like really getting into the nitty-gritty.
Exactly. They would ask these really insightful questions and really listen to their clients' pain points.
So active listening is crucial.
It is. They really dug deep to understand their clients' goals and challenges.
So it sounds like they went way beyond the typical sales pitch.
They did.
They were basically problem solvers for their clients.
Exactly. Wynn became this valuable resource.
Someone their clients could rely on?
Exactly. Someone who could provide insights and solutions.
Going above and beyond just selling a product or service?
It wasn't just about closing the deal.
Right.
It was about genuinely helping their clients succeed.
I bet that made a huge difference. It did. It's a really effective way to build trust.
Yeah.
And stand out in a crowded market.
When you're competing with so many other salespeople,
right,
you have to find a way to differentiate yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And that trust.
Yeah.
That's essential for building those long-term relationships, the kind that lead to sustainable sales success.
Absolutely. When clients see you're invested in their success, they become loyal advocates for you and your company.
They do. And Wynn also emphasized challenging the status quo.
Okay.
They talked about constantly looking for ways to improve.
I like that. Always striving to be better.
Right. And they stressed that it wasn't just about coming up with a brilliant idea.
So it's not enough to just have a good idea.
No. It's about being willing to test it out.
Okay.
To iterate and constantly refine your approach.
So it's a process of continuous improvement.
Exactly. And they even suggested looking outside your own industry for inspiration.
Interesting. So bringing in fresh perspectives from other fields.
Yeah. Exactly. Wynn was a big believer in what they called cross-pollination.
Cross-pollination.
Yeah. Bringing in new ideas from other areas.
I like that. It's easy to get stuck in our own little bubbles.
It is.
And miss out on valuable insights from other fields.
That's right. And being willing to adapt and embrace new ideas. That's crucial in today's market.
Absolutely. Things are changing so quickly.
They are. Now, another key part of Wynn's approach was strategic scheduling.
So how did they manage their time?
They were very intentional about it.
Time is valuable.
It is, especially for salespeople.
Right.
So they spaced out visits to smaller accounts.
Okay.
To free up more time for those high-potential clients.
The ones we talked about earlier.
Right. It's about prioritizing your efforts and making sure they're aligned with your sales goals.
So you're not wasting time on things that aren't moving the needle.
Exactly. And it helps prevent burnout, too.
Burnout.
Yeah, when you're focused on those high-value clients.
Right, the ones you're really passionate about.
Yeah, exactly. You're more likely to stay energized.
It makes sense.
And that enthusiasm is contagious.
It rubs off on your clients.
It does. When you're excited about your work and the people you're working with, it shows...
It's a more effective salesperson.
It does. Wynn also talked about the importance of having a supportive manager.
Supportive in what way?
It's not just about having someone who pats you on the back.
Right.
When you hit your numbers.
So it's more than just celebrating wins.
It is. It's about having someone who encourages you to think outside the box.
To try new things.
Exactly. To experiment.
Even if it means failing sometime.
Right. And to challenge the status quo.
That can be tough in some companies.
It can be. So for sales leaders, it's about creating a culture where innovation is valued.
Where salespeople feel empowered to take risks.
Exactly.
And to try new things.
It's about fostering that growth mindset and creating an environment where it's okay to fail.
As long as you learn from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about shifting that mindset from failure is bad to failure is an opportunity to learn and improve.
That's a big shift.
It is. And when salespeople feel supported and encouraged to innovate, they're more likely to be engaged, motivated, and successful.
It's a win-win for everyone.
It is. Now, Wynn also made this pretty bold statement.
What's that?
About knowing your worth and not settling for a situation that's not serving you.
So don't be afraid to walk away.
Exactly. They suggested that sometimes you might even need to leave a company that's holding you back.
That's a tough decision.
It is, but it highlights how important it is to be in an environment that supports your growth.
Where you can thrive.
Right. Wynn's story really shows the power of taking ownership of your career.
It's your career, after all.
And not being afraid to make a change if you need to.
To find a better fit.
Exactly.
Right.
Wynn's journey is full of insights for sales professionals at all levels. But I think it's especially relevant for sales leaders.
The ones who are setting the tone.
Exactly. The ones who are creating that culture of innovation within their teams.
It all comes down to leadership.
It does. Which brings us to this crucial question.
Okay.
For those in leadership positions,
Hit us with it.
how can they create an environment where their teams are empowered to challenge the status quo?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. Because it's one thing to talk about innovation.
Right.
But it's a whole other thing to actually make it happen.
Especially in sales.
Right, where everything is so results-driven.
Yeah, you've got quotas, targets, established procedures.
It can feel risky to deviate from what's already working.
So how do sales leaders create that space for innovation?
Right. How do you foster that kind of environment?
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It really is. You know, it's more than just telling people to think outside the box. Sales leaders got to create a space where those ideas can actually be explored. You know, where they can test them out without being afraid of making mistakes.
Yeah, because in sales, it's all about hitting those numbers.
Exactly.
Sticking to what works.
Right. So it's about creating that safety net where people can try new things.
Right. If you want your team to be innovative, you have to show them that you're not just open to new ideas, but that you're willing to actually support them.
Champion them.
Exactly.
Sales leaders need to actively look for those new approaches. Maybe even set aside time for brainstorming and experimenting.
So it sounds like there needs to be a balance.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You need that support from leadership, but you also need to empower individual salespeople to take risks and push those boundaries.
To feel comfortable trying new things.
Right.
One way to do that is by creating a more collaborative environment.
Okay.
Where team members can share their ideas.
Bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Learn from each other's experiences.
It's not just about one person having all the brilliant ideas. It's about using the collective intelligence of the whole team.
Right. Harnessing that power.
You might even think about implementing a peer-to-peer mentoring program.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Or coaching.
Yeah, to really facilitate that knowledge sharing and collaborative learning.
It creates a more supportive environment.
Right.
Where everyone feels like they're contributing.
And it can also help break down those silos.
Yeah, those walls between departments.
Right.
Like you could bring in people from marketing or product development.
To brainstorm.
Yeah, to get different perspectives.
On the challenges and potential solutions.
It's a good way to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, aligned with those goals.
Now, fostering innovation, it's not a one-time thing.
Right. It's a process.
It's ongoing.
Like to keep working at it.
Sales leaders need to consistently emphasize the value of innovation. Celebrate those small wins. Encourage their team to be curious and keep learning.
It's about creating that feedback loop.
Exactly.
Always looking for ways to improve.
Creating a culture where learning and growth are just part of who they are.
Wynn's journey really shows what's possible.
It's inspiring.
When you combine strategic thinking with a willingness to work smart.
Yeah.
And that commitment to continuous improvement.
It's about never being satisfied with the status quo.
Right.
Always pushing the boundaries.
And for our listeners, We hope this deep dive has given you some valuable insights.
Some tools you can use
to unlock that potential.
That 10x potential.
Within your sales teams.
Whether you're leading a team or just starting out in your career.
Remember to embrace those new ideas.
Challenge those old ways of thinking.
And always strive to be better.
And don't forget to have fun along the way.
Right. Because sometimes the best solutions come from those unexpected moments.
Or sparks of inspiration.
So keep those innovative ideas flowing.
Absolutely. That's all for today's deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
And until next time,
keep pushing those boundaries.